Just getting back from the hospital after a very long shift and taking care of Simcha Dov. Unfortunately, Simcha Dov has contracted a bacterial infection, which has put him into like sort of a quarantine, and that put him into a room by himself with one other person, which theoretically sounds like a good thing, except for that they put him in a very tight room. It's a small room. It's probably meant for one person, and they've divided it for two, which is even more cramped than it was before. But the biggest challenge with this was an elderly man who was clearly in a lot of pain, and we only wish him a refuah shlema and only wish good things for him. But the whole night he was screaming, ay ay ay, ay ay ay. He was in a tremendous amount of pain. I felt very bad for him, and like I said, only wish him a refuah shlema. However, I did not get a lot of sleep, and it was very difficult. Simcha Dov did, I think, get some sleep because they gave him something to help him sleep. Next time I gotta ask them for some of that for me. Anyhow, I had the following thought. Okay, no challenges, nothing too much here. Not asking anyone to grow or reach. Just a thought. Okay, just a thought. The way it's set up in the hospital is there is a hierarchy. Your lowest level person is your koyach ezer. I guess that's in English an orderly, but that's a person who helps he does the manual labor. He will be the one who will help the patients if they need to get in and out of bed, if they need to change their linens, if they're wearing a diaper of a sort. They're the ones who change that. They're the ones who give the patients baths. They do the physical labor. The above that is a nurse. It can be an ach or an achot, depending if it's a male or a female. Then they are the ones who really work with you. They are the ones who are in charge. They're the ones who bring your medicine. They're the ones who, if you have a problem, you go to them. They are the people who are able to be really in charge of the care, but they will not do things that take manual labor like changing linens or something like that, unless you have a case like our case where there is a person who has a trach. Then you need, in order to manipulate anything with the person who has a trach, then you have to have both an ach and a koyach ezer. Above that is a doctor. Doctors come around only once a shift, and usually then only when they have something specific for a specific patient, but they do not really interact a lot with individual patients directly. A lot of it, they tell the nurse what to do, and then the nurse does it. The nurse fills in. The doctor will not give medicine. The doctor will tell the nurse to give medicine. And then above that is you have the head of the department or head of that floor, and that person you don't even see ever. I'm like, if they come around once a week, and you see them then, that's good. But they are in charge of many more doctors, and they really don't get involved in the direct care of patients. They only oversee. Like I said, when they came into the room, they didn't even introduce themselves. They kind of stand there and with the doctors, huddle around. They look at the patient, but they don't examine the patient. They don't touch the patient. They are exalted. Anyhow, so when we got in our situation here and we really wanted to change our roommates, and we really wanted to be able to find a different solution here, there was, they give you the runaround. And really, for the past month, we have experienced this runaround. If you need something, the nurse will tell you they got to first talk to the doctor. And if you need something that requires the koyach ezer, there comes the orderly. So then they'll talk to the orderly. It takes 2 hours for them to talk to the orderly. The orderly takes another 2 hours to come. Once again, Elise and I have just learned to do everything ourselves, and that's how we get most things done, because trying to use the services that we have in the current hierarchy is very difficult to get things done. If we can't avoid it, we try to, because they run you up and down the hierarchy, and you don't really get anywhere, and it takes a long time. Even though they are very kind people and they are gracious, they only want the best of their patients, they're just very busy. They have a lot to take care of. So here, in order to get something done, my wife had to go out of the circle, had to go to a social worker, and had to try and get some people in the higher ups in in the more bureaucratic part of the hospital in order to get things done. And Mitzvah Hashem will see the fruits of her labors. But I had the following thought. We say in davening, Ein Kelokeinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamishim. Then we say that again. The same thing, right? First Elokeinu, then Adonenu, then Malkeinu, and then Moshinu. What are those 4 levels? So it occurred to me that perhaps we can understand it in the reference of this situation of the hospital. The Moshienu, the lowest level, is the one who's the Moshiach, the one who actually comes down and helps us and saves us and gets their hands dirty, right? So when Hashem is the Moshienu, Hashem is going into Mitzrayim and pulling us out. Hashem is the one who is getting his hands dirty and getting us out of the situation that we're in. Then that's the Madrega, or that's the Midah called Moshienu. However, higher than that is Malkeinu, our Melech, the one who works with us, the one who's in charge of us, the one who takes care of us. That's like the nurse. So they're the Malkeinu. They decree what goes on, and they determine how our experience will be, and it's really up to them how our day-to-day living goes on. But you have a Madrega higher, and that's Adonenu, right? That's when it's even higher. That's the doctor. So they don't really get involved too much with the patients directly. They tell the nurses what to do, right? So the Adonenu is even higher than the Malkeinu. And then you have the head of the division. That's Elokeinu. That's an Hashem is in a Madrega of Elokeinu, where really it's exalted beyond the norm of who interacting with the normal situation. That would be if Hashem was like a human hierarchy. But we profess and we proclaim that Hashem is Ein Kelokeinu. Hashem is not like the way it works in the world. He's Kelokeinu. There's no one like our God because He's with us, and He's the same one who is Adonenu, and He's the same one who is going to be Malkeinu, and He's the same one who is Moshienu. So when we need something, we can just daven to Hashem because Hashem does all of it. There are no hierarchies when it comes to asking to Hashem or davening to Hashem. Hashem does it all. Hashem fulfills all of those levels, and therefore, when you ask for it, you're able to hope that it'll get done. If that's the right thing for us to get done, it'll get done because Hashem is the one who is one in everything. And therefore we proclaim in 5 different levels that there's nobody like Elokeinu, Adonenu, Malkeinu, Moshienu, because Hashem is one and He does it all. He doesn't hold back. He's not too exalted to get His hands dirty to actually help us. And at the same time, He's all powerful, and He's the one who can make every decision happen. So when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, there is nothing limiting the success or the answer to our requests, because Hashem is Echad. He is Elokeinu, He is Adonenu, He is Malkeinu, Moshienu. He does it all.